I'm Chantele Francis.
We're doing it for
her. Everybody, I'm Chantele Francis. Welcome back to Big Brother Cheesecake for Office Wars. I am, as Jonathan has said, Chantele Francis, your host, with my lovely co-hosts.
Jonathan Oliveira.
And Jojo O'Toole.
And we have today our latest evictee. We have Brenda. Say hello, Brenda. And Chelsea.
And Chelsea.
Yeah. Hi.
So it happened. How did you get here? What do you think your downfall was? Like, how come you are evicted now? Because I really thought you had it to go quite far.
Well, I keep getting told that Ruby was part of the problem, but I campaigned really hard to use it if they kept me in the game one more time to make some sort of a big move with it. But I don't know, I was told they thought I was a stronger player than CJ, and it was my turn to go. I campaigned really hard to stay.
Good.
And I wasn't going to, initially I had my little meltdown and I wanted to quit. And that was I needed the break. So I know that doesn't sit well with people sometimes when you go through that. And I do know that if I were ever, I could never be put in a house with 15 other people. I would be one of the first ones gone. I'm pretty certain of that because I couldn't, I don't know. I like being by myself. I'm social, but I like one-on-one social. Once I've had my fill, I have to remove myself from it. So I knew in the beginning of this game, I told the Final Five Alliance, I said to my son, I think I'm going to tell them about my personality a little bit because I had concerns about it. And I love the game, but I just thought, I don't know whether I can do it very well or not, but I wanted to try because I really like Andrew and I like the game and I'm a fan, but I'm not a super fan or anything. I don't watch live feeds or anything like that. But I did tell them I had concerns about my personality and that I might not be, felt like I might not be liked because I can be nice one time and I can be pretty mean another time. I have a mean streak in me. So yeah.
But don't you think doing it online allows you to kind of walk away in moments when that might innately come out in person? You're just online, you can just hold back on that. So why give that knowledge to someone? Why give someone something that they can use against you?
Oh, geez. Well, I guess it's just me. I kind of been told I wear my heart in my sleeve. I don't really, I'm not good at hiding things, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way. There's so many things I would do differently if I were to do it another time, but I don't think I would do it another time.
Questions for sure. So you don't think that you would ever play again? Well, then can we ask you what do you think you would change or how you could work the house differently if you were to ever play again?
Yeah, so I guess, oh gosh, I have a hard time explaining this. I don't even know if I understand myself, but I guess I was really blindsided by Ryan getting evicted, and maybe he was a really strong support for me. So it was like somebody died on me. It was, I don't know. So I think I relied too heavily and didn't have enough confidence in myself for what I was doing. And that's an ongoing thing in my real life that I struggle with sometimes. So I call this game just a big mind fuck, really, because
100%.
What's that?
I said 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. So it's hard because, you try not to react a certain way. And sometimes it just comes out okay, that's it. You're not, I'm shoot my mouth off sometimes. And
I love that about you, Brenda. I love that you created waves. I love that you were willing to play the game. I don't think a lot of people thought initially that you would be playing as hard as you did. I remember when Jack was evicted and he was
Yeah.
really peeved that you evicted him. And I thought, Brenda's legit, like, doing what's best for her, and that's
I
how
was
you
like,
play.
yeah, I'm keeping you. Yeah, I'm keeping you, and I voted him out.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't.
that is the
So
game.
I like to get it. I like to get advice, but I also don't like being told what to do.
Sure.
So
Oh,
I'm a
preaching
bit
to
of
the
a
choir.
wild card or a loose cannon.
Yep. But that's a fun player in my mind. I love someone that's willing to create waves, to say what they actually think, and they're not pussyfooting around. They're really
Not much of a pussyfooter.
good.
Yeah.
You have a
That's
strategy.
the people I work with.
Did you have a strategy coming into the house?
You know, not really. I'm more of, and that's the other thing, like playing with younger people that, oh my God, they can see everything from so many angles that I didn't even think of. I'm more of I go by my gut feelings more. I'm like, I love Jack. And I that's why I told him the night before, I'm like, hey buddy, yeah, I'm sorry. It's nothing against you. And it's just something I'm trying to do for my game. And I felt really bad about it because I had the most fun chatting with him, like when he was in the game. So yeah, I'm more play by gut feelings. My cats are fighting over here. And so I didn't really have a strategy. I just liked the game, and I knew Kat and Ryan were playing, and I love them. So yeah, I was kind of aligned with them. Not kind of, I was aligned with them from the very beginning. So
Did your son give you any advice?
not really.
No?
No.
That surprises me.
Yeah. Well, when I wanted to quit, he was like, no, like just little things. Because when I said I was going to say about my personality in the beginning, he was like, I don't think you should do that. And then I'm like, yeah, but I went ahead and did it anyway. And then, and yeah, when I wanted to quit, and I know that's a big thing in Big Brother. It's like, oh, you got picked to play in the game and you don't quit and da da da. But I said, I was like crying that day. I was a wreck, and I needed a break. And Andrew was kind enough to cut me a little slack. And I honestly thought I was going to quit. And then I thought, okay, I did feel better the next day, and I kind of collected myself. And I thought I felt more rational again. I felt really irrational that day, and it was just a rough day. So
why, can I ask in that moment, why, and again, this may play into what you were saying earlier with your personality, but why didn't you just say, you know what, I'm going to like mute all these chats for now and just take a day to myself and not participate, rather than I'm quitting. This is how I'm feeling in the moment, especially if you know that about yourself. Because I know how stressful it can be in the house. And I know there's moments where you want to throw your phone across the room and just be like, I'm done with these people. I hate everyone. I'm leaving. Bye. But, you know, you have that opportunity to not show that.
I don't think I really knew about the mute thing, to be honest. Like, you know, I'd already had my meltdown, and then they're like, you can mute the chat, you know, and I hadn't done that. And that might have been very helpful to me, but I learned about that after the fact. I am not like computer savvy, and like this is the most, I thought if I can keep the chat straight, I'll be happy, because it was like I had so many, I've never chatted so much in my whole life or ever been attached to my phone as much as like doing all this through the messenger stuff. And it's kind of crazy. And every once in a while I did say the wrong thing in the wrong chat, and I'm like, oops, like nothing really bad. But
those are my favorite. Those are my favorite, when people have to backtrack. Or delete. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, certainly I could have done it differently, but it's done deal now.
So at this point, who do you feel most betrayed by?
Betrayed by? Probably Brazil, just because she voted for Ryan to be evicted and she was in our alliance.
Did you feel like it was a vote against you?
No, I was just shocked. Like I was just purely shocked by it. And then that's the other thing. I think I just thought that it wasn't going to happen. So it just blew me away. So yeah, like when I said my little HOH speech to you, Chantele, I said how, like, you know, I've laughed and cried and been too comfortable and been not comfortable at all. And so it's like, I don't know, I just thought for sure it was going to be Curtis, and it wasn't. So, and he's still there.
So it was no surprise
although
that you were put on the block this week?
Oh, it was no surprise, no. But I campaigned really hard. So CJ's still there. She didn't even campaign at all. And I don't even think she did that HOH speech thing. I don't know.
Is that why she's still there? Because she didn't campaign? Because she didn't try?
Because they're dragging her along right now. It's a numbers thing, like the girls outnumber the guys, so I don't know if they're gonna try to turn on the guys. Although I did watch the video this afternoon, or the one that Andrew posted today, and Curtis got that Pooh Brown veto, so I don't remember quite how that works, so.
Not good.
It's not good?
Explain to me how that works.
I remember it far too well.
Same week you got her, correct?
What's that?
It's pretty much under the same circumstances.
Yeah, so he has 2 weeks to either this week or next week to use it. If you don't use it this week, then you are forced to use it the following week, which is exactly what I had to do. And you are forced to put yourself on the block, and ultimately saving someone on the block, and putting yourself up against someone else.
Oh, okay.
And you can't participate in veto. You can't save yourself with veto. And then if he leaves it till next week, he can't even participate in head of household. So.
Oh, okay.
That was a pretty risky time, especially since we've seen that Jonathan did this exact same move.
What are you doing, Curtis? That's my game.
So are you rooting for anybody in the house right now? Like, do you feel like you have any friends, or you have any loyalty?
Well, I'm rooting for Kat, and I'm rooting for Lindsay. Like, those are probably my two favorites at the moment. But like, I hope a girl wins it.
Me too.
It's sound bad. I can be a man hater if I want to be.
You're allowed to be.
Now, do you, with me choosing the next head of household, so would those two people be your two picks? So Lindsay or Kat would be who you would have preferred?
I was happy you picked Lindsay, because I think she's been I like her gameplay so far, really. She maybe got off to a slower start and under the radar there, but yeah, I think she's made good moves so far. So I think I hope she does good things. So.
Do you think that Ryan is going to control your vote in the jury house?
No. I love Ryan, but no.
I feel like
we'll probably chat about stuff, but no.
I think you'll have fun in the jury house with Ryan, with Rai. And
I was so hoping, though, just that, Chantele, that you picked me, because I said to Andrew for that HOH comp, I'm like, please pick me, because I said to Andrew, would it be a little bit of cheesecake history if I won the HOH on the week that I'm going home? I would have. Yes. I just wanted a little piece of history in my back pocket. So it's like, damn. But I was happy you picked Lindsay.
I didn't think of it that way. I guess if I was, I'm not I don't know all the stats like, you know, Andrew does, so I wouldn't have thought of it. If he had mentioned it, though, I might have considered it. Just be like, and then my second choice is.
Yeah.
Brenda coming in a close second. Yeah, so that was
good. Interesting. Sorry, I'm sorry to give you a stat.
I know.
Is a stat home with the Ruby veto?
Oh, I've won nothing. I've sucked at every comp out there. So I actually thought the one I did for you was going to be one of my better ones. That night, I was the one that did Lindt chocolate bananas instead of Lindt chocolate bunnies.
That was so good, though. That was great. I love that challenge. That was probably one of my favorites.
That was fun. Yeah, that was fun.
It was really good.
But you were in sales, right?
Yeah.
And they won nothing.
Nothing.
How do you feel about that? The whole season, not a single.
Well, at least I stayed the longest out of everybody. I'm not a real competitive person. I've always said I've been probably more competitive personally with myself. I'm very hard on myself. So I said to people, like, if you think like, when I'm mad at you, just think about, when I do something myself, how hard I am on myself. So, but no, I'm not a gamer. And if there's anything to do with a time limit or like those endurance comps, I am not a late night person. I'm an early to bed and get up early kind of girl. And as soon as there's a time limit, anxiety kicks in, and I just screw things up. Like, I hate that about myself, but that's as soon as there's a time.
Everybody goes through that. Just some people are able to go through it.
Yeah, I need a lot of practice with that stuff.
We had a competition, buzzkill, and like as soon as I saw the buzzkill, like my heart started racing. I
know.
Like, it's actually, I
get that way if I'm like bidding on something on eBay and it's near the end. I'm like, my heart's palpitating. Like if I want to win something.
You're sweating palms. Dripping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think you had like any sort of shot of staying against CJ, or do you think that the fact that you had the Ruby veto was
I had hope that maybe, like, I did campaign hard, and for me, I thought, yeah, you know what, I'm going to try to do the best I can and see this. And I kind of, once I started doing it, I kept at it. So I did kind of motivate myself to keep going. And so it didn't work, but I tried hard, and I know I tried hard. So they just didn't buy it.
Yeah. You may want to spill the tea a little bit here, but so was there any more history or background with the little bit of angst that was going on between you and Curtis on the day that I was in the house?
Oh, well, at the end of the night there, after Curtis posted his video, I made a few comments to Andrew privately, because I was like, yeah, and Andrew stirred the pot there, let's just say that. So it was kind of a last hurrah for me to be it got a little ugly, I guess. But it was, he's like, well, you should say that in the main chat. And I said, yeah, okay, I will. But I was actually saying it to him because that's how I was blowing it off. I thought, do I do this? Do I just like, and then I was like, oh, no, you know what? I'm gonna say, yeah.
Were they all your things, or was it some of it kind of like just inflated a little bit?
Oh, it was inflated a little bit, yes. But he was hard to take, I have to say. He's a really good player. He's a strong player. He's good at comps. But I was in 2 big alliances with him, and the one when I was in with him and the 3 boys, so Nick, Marston, and Curtis. They talked a lot. Like, I felt like I couldn't even keep up with them sometimes. So I know it's my own insecurities here, but I was like, they'd be chatting away, and I'm like, do you want to know what I think? But they were looking at angles, they were doing spreadsheets, figuring out statistics, like all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, I just felt like I was, just that token. I don't know what I was. I felt kind of small in that group with the guys. I felt good in the other group, but Curtis is I joked about him being like my long-winded friend Curtis. He explains a lot of things. He was always guiding, and I think that was a lot to do with keeping Marston in line, and keeping Nick in line, and all that kind of stuff. So I got it not only in that one, I also got it in the other one. And I was upset at one point where I just said, like, he was like coaching me on how to do a conversation with somebody. And I said, Curtis, you don't need to mansplain to me, dear. Like, come on. Yeah. So he rubbed me the wrong way, and he was a lot to take.
Yeah. Especially if someone like knows you and how you've been for 50 odd days, or whenever that was happening in the game, they should know like how to speak to you, how to include you.
Yeah.
To like reach out and like actually ask for your opinion.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know communication's a 2-way street. So but sometimes I just felt like I wasn't really included. And then I would say, like, the one night, and they were up later, they would, I'd catch up on what they talked about in the morning because I wasn't up as late as they were when they were chatting. And the beginning of the game's a lot more fun than when it gets down to the point that it's at now. I can see it's different because it's every man for themselves now. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun in the beginning. But I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe a little bit, I don't know if not disrespected, but it was just hard for me. I feel like I wasn't valued maybe on some of in that alliance. But then I think that's a lot of my own insecurities too, because
would you say that you want Curtis to follow you out?
Pardon me?
Would you say that you would want Curtis to be following you into the jury house?
Oh, I'd love that.
Is that your first choice? Your first choice is Curtis? Yeah.
Okay. I've been wanting him gone from the beginning. There was just something about him. So, and once again, this is just me and my flaky feelings about, I just feel like he's somebody that he would drive me crazy in real life, maybe not. Like I doubt that we'll ever meet because he's out west, but it's just a feeling. And I go a lot by gut feelings and interactions with people. And yeah, like I don't need to be told how to start a conversation or what to say and how to, like, it was a bit much at times. And, he's recognized that too. I'm not going to say like he's apologized. We're okay and everything. It was, well, maybe we're not okay. I don't know, that last little bitch session at the end there that I pulled. But yeah, like I don't have any hard feelings against him. He's a hard player. And I just think I truly think they could have got Ryan out after him. Like they could have got rid of him first. And then Ryan, I think, we could have found a way to get rid of Ryan after if you wanted.
But you wouldn't have done that though. So I think that,
not
you a little bit as well.
And he knew I was tight with them. So, but he convinced Brazil and, how did that go? I can't remember what happened what week now. Like I got a good short-term memory.
Well, it makes you feel better. Further down the line, you'll have to know what happened on every single day and every single week.
I know. And at the beginning, I started to keep track of some stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. I didn't keep it up, so it's probably.
I warned you all. You need to write it down. Write it down every day. Write it down.
Pages and pages of notes of everything that I did after the fact, and it took forever. It took hours.
You guys are hardcore. I'm not that hardcore.
Well, we wanted to win.
Yeah, you did. I'm just gonna go and buy some cheesecake.
Perfect.
I was talking with Andrew, I don't know if it was on the air or not, about having like maybe the winners. I don't think any of the winners so far, I don't know about season 1, but 2 and 3, I believe, have not used their gift certificates. So we're thinking maybe just having like a big kind of cast party or whatever.
That would be cool.
A big bunch of it would be fronted by us, and go and like hang out with each other if we can and see what's up. So
yeah, I can't wait to go to, like, I'm going to go to Toronto whenever I can travel. I'm in Sarnia, so once I can go to Toronto when it's a little looser on these COVID rules or whatever's going on. But I look forward to meeting Kat and Andrew, so for sure, and whoever else. Most people are in Toronto area, I think. So if that could happen, I think that would be great.
So we're gonna get some seasons together and we'll all get to meet each other face to face. And I think that's one thing too, is like, you were saying that you're not sure about how your relationship with Curtis. And that's one of the drawbacks, I think, of just having it being on chat, is that you can't really tell tone. You can't really fully appreciate the vibe of somebody. You can't fully see if you click or not. And so, if we were in the house, you would know automatically, like, okay, we get along, or okay, we don't. And you wouldn't maybe, feel that you're being manipulated or feel that you weren't being respected, because you would actually have a little bit more proof of what was going on. And so It's just one of the challenges of this version of the game, unfortunately. And like, you have to either work with it or work around it in some way. So I understand that plight, because that was actually really hard it's hard for everybody, is being able to really gauge what people are feeling and thinking, because people can lie a lot more easily just behind a computer screen than they could if they were actually face to face with you, you know? So it's just,
I'm not a good liar. And I didn't even like lying to people on this. So I don't know, it's hard, but yeah, you're right. It's not the best way to communicate, because like that's how people communicate now. And it's like, so many things are misinterpreted and taken the wrong way. So yeah, you're right. Seeing somebody in person makes a difference.
So you guys are probably gonna be best friends after this.
Never know.
I don't know. I think I've made some new friends for sure. I hope so. Yeah. And as Jack said when he was on, I think he said, or he told me after he was evicted, he said, I feel liberated. And I said, and so I used the same phrase when I left. I said, as Jack would say, I feel liberated. It does feel kind of good to like, oh, okay, I don't really have to keep looking at my phone. But it's addictive. Like and it's been good. I at one point, I'm like, I was on my phone so much at work, and I'm just like, I need to keep my job, so I better be careful. But
I would skip work sometimes. I know, it was awful. I know, like, I'm not going to go in today. It's not happening. Things are too important. I'm just not doing it.
True.
I will not confirm or deny that I did that once.
Good. I love the dedication. That's all the questions that I have. Boys, do you have any more questions that you'd like?
One word answers. Okay. Who is the most comfortable in the game?
Curtis, although now he's got that poo, but.
Who was the easiest person to connect with?
Kat, for me.
And who is playing for second place?
Nick.
Ooh,
okay. And who would never get a vote from you?
Oh.
No matter what they would do or say.
Curtis. I have it out for, I can't help it.
You're allowed to. You're out of the game.
Wow.
You can feel whatever you want.
Those were good, Jojo. Do you have any last questions, Jonathan?
No. Well, you know what? Jojo was doing one word only answers. I'll do wrong answers only. So minus. Let's take Curtis out of it for a second. Who do you want to win? Okay. Wrong answers only.
Wrong answers only.
Yeah. Who do you want to win? Don't say the real person. Wrong answers only.
CJ.
All right, that's it. That's all I got for you.
Any last words? This is your last moment with us.
I know. Well, I'm glad you wanted to have me on, because I know I messaged you before, and I'm like, I don't even know if I want to come on. But that was actually my meltdown
when you said that. I was like, oh man.
But no, thanks for having me. It's been fun, and it's been a great experience. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if I would go there again, but I love watching it, and I'm a fan, and I can't wait to meet some of you guys.
You're still in the jury house. You have a job to do still, so.
Yeah, you still have a lot to say. I mean, now there's two of you in there. Like as people start coming onto that side, you know, the game is still going on. You still have a say. You still have a part. Your voice matters 100% here, so nobody is going to, you know, be putting your opinion aside. Like, it's actually really important, so like use that. And
I hadn't thought about, like, I'm just realizing now how important the jury house part is, because I was like, oh, just kind of relieved I'm not in the game, and I'm like, oh yeah, but the jury. So then I just only briefly chatted with Ryan so far, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of it goes.
You'll probably like the jury house side of things a lot better, because you can just have your
probably
it's no repercussions.
My only advice for the jury house is to really put some thought into your final question. Mm-hmm. Like really put some thought into it, and like make it count. Like if you're not sure who you want to choose, just really give it a good thought. That's my only advice.
Okay, good.
I have faith in you.
And I'll take that advice.
Good.
It's really good advice, actually. Because, you don't want the boring ones. Everybody does the boring ones. Like, you want, like, a good one that, like, they have to think about, and, like, you can get some answers, And it can prove a lot of stuff.
Oh, jeez.
It was great having you. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's a beautiful sunny day today, and hopefully maybe you'll come on later. We're hoping to do a reunion show, and we'll have like maybe the jury house, do a round table or something. I don't know. We'll see what Andrew lets us do, but we'll be seeing you again, I am sure. Hey.
Yeah,
Bye, Brenda.
Good. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
I really appreciate it.
Bye.
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 Well, thank you, Brenda. I'm so happy that she came on. I thought she really she had a pretty good handle at what was going on in the game and where she was in the game. But I think that she didn't get her footing soon enough. I think that she got overwhelmed with like people also playing at the same time. And, she kind of just got lost and then she came back. But I think it was just a little bit too late. Like if she didn't step out of the game, I think that, and she regrouped more quickly, I think that she would have had a shot with staying, especially because she has that Ruby veto. Instead of them using it against her to get her out and a reason to get her out, like I think if she had a little more time, she could have used it, be like, hey, I have this, how can we use it together? And she might have been able to gain back some favor with her previous alliances.
Yeah, I think losing Ryan definitely deflated her, like her mentality in general of what was happening, the game, personally, the people that were still there. I think the Ruby could have been played a little earlier, but because there's only 8 people left, that's when people go, oh, you have a power. I don't want that around because it can affect me.
Well, because I like Andrew making fun of the fact that I have no idea what any of these powers do, what does the Ruby power of veto do?
Okay, I'm going to go on a limb here because I'm not 100% sure either, but I think the Ruby was, if Brenda won the veto, it could become a Ruby veto and she could remove both players.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Isn't that the Diamond?
No, Diamond gets to rename the nom.
Fuck.
Sapphire is veto a veto, as long as it's a veto winner. The veto holder didn't. I don't know. And then, okay, I think Ruby wasn't in our season, though. It's a new one, correct?
Yeah. Let me look through my notes.
It wasn't in our season? Oh.
No.
Who I know.
So Ruby veto can take off the other nominee as well.
I found it. I found it on day 3. Brenda won this on day 3. If golden is used, you can't make out my writing.
You can use it on
save other nominee as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
HOH chooses both replacements.
So wait, but that means the regular veto would have to be used on the Ruby holder?
Yeah.
Oh, no. The Ruby holder can just use it on the other person, but only if the veto is used.
Right. If golden is used.
But does the person who has the Ruby veto have to be the one who wins it?
I don't think so.
Or needs to be on the block, affect it? I don't know.
I don't think so. I just wrote new. If golden is used, you can save other nominee as well.
Okay.
That's what it is. So you can take both people off. That makes sense. Sorry, God, everyone watching is like, you fucking idiot.
Don't know how to put it together. You don't pay attention. I mean, they're complicated. They're just additional things that are from the genius mind of Andrew that we have to get in there and understand ourselves. So we will talk again about Brenda, but let's roll the tapes back and go day 52. So they did that endurance competition, and at 4 a.m. they gave up. And they decided to give it to Brazil. So what do you think about them giving up that competition to Brazil?
Well, I mean, they're throwing everything to Curtis, so why not continue the trend of throwing competitions? I mean, we don't know for sure if Marcin actually did throw that competition. It was 4:01 when he replied, so I don't know. I think, yeah, they threw it for sure. You all threw it.
Yeah, I was disappointed. Like I said, I wanted them to experience a full day's worth of no sleep, having to go back into work, and really wearing them down. I mean, apparently Brenda was worn down mentally, but I wanted like everyone to really feel the full effects of that. And so 4 a.m. is
I think it's also
that's child's play. Come on.
Yeah, it's a bonding experience too. It's like you're all in it together. Even if you're competing against one another, there's something I think personally that like bonds you together. You like get a little more respect.
And like stuff that you're willing to say and moves that you're willing to make when you've been up for over 24 hours is like, that's what I wanted to see. The kind of unhinged version of some of these house guests because of the lack of sleep. And
yeah, I was worried about you, Jonathan, during that endurance competition.
You should have been.
I was like, Jonathan could drop dead at any moment. Let this be done. Like, just make it happen.
Yeah.
So the red properties are going to go to whoever wins this. So Brazil gets the red properties. No, just kidding. I don't know what that meant. Anyways, this week's veto will the veto will win the dark blue properties. So Charlene picks the winner usually, and so she picked the first season Jeffrey, the second season me, or third season me.
Chanel and then you.
Who?
Chanel.
Oh, Chanel then me, correct. And then she picked this season Kat. What do you think about her prediction pick?
I don't want to say because I'm rooting for Kat too. So I think it's a great prediction. Yeah. I mean, good luck to Kat regardless.
Is Kat on your team?
Kat is on my team. Brenda was also on my team. Now I'm down to 3 or 2, I guess. Shade button. 3. Full 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion that a guy is going to win this season. And I don't know why I feel that way, but
maybe.
Well, it's I mean, we'll get to some.
As long as they're on my team, I'm okay with it. But.
Yeah.
So Brenda started sending some angry messages around this point. So all of us have kind of the feeling that we don't really like quitters and quitting. How did you guys feel when it kind of came up that she was not comfortable in the game anymore and was wanting to maybe leave it?
I think that because especially us, we've all been there. We've been to that edge and where we just don't want to even do it anymore. And yet you were able to rein yourself in. It's a really it's hard to see someone else experience that and not, have a little bit more control over it to just be like, no, I can't do this, and really to fight through it. Although I do think it's a little unfair to have that perspective sometimes because you don't know everyone's story and what they're going through, but it innately just happens. I feel like where you're like, quitter, someone who isn't trying as hard or someone who's failing at persevering. And I just think that's very natural to feel that way towards other people. I know I hate quitters as well. And I'm glad she didn't, even though she was still sent home. And I think the moment that you put that out there, it's like blood in the water for sharks. So it's kind of like already done for. But I would rather someone just kind of stick it out and let people send you home than walk away from it at the very least, even if you want to go. But just don't put it out there. You can take some time away and say you have an emergency and you just can't participate or something for a day, or you should know that going in, that if you need that mental break, take it and come up with another excuse and just, yeah.
I think it's healthy to definitely unplug at times. But we were all guilty of constantly being on our phone or our computers, whatever people were using to continue on as much as possible. But I think feeling hopeless, I don't want to say Brenda was being a sore sport, but yeah, kinda. In my opinion, if someone wants to quit, they're like, well, I can't, it's not, things aren't going my way, boo-hoo. But also speaking about, we're in quarantine right now. We're all of our lives are topsy-turvy. You can feel great one day and miserable the next. So we can't comment on someone's, in my opinion, especially at this time, we can't comment on how someone's feeling because we're all allowed to, all of our feelings are valid.
But didn't one of you mention why didn't she get her son to play for her? And it's and it's and then to hear in the exit interview that she didn't even like get his advice at the beginning, because he had told her a few things and she didn't follow. I was really surprised that they weren't working more collaboratively, especially because he's already experienced the house, you know.
She wanted to play her own game
need
too.
to bounce your ideas or thoughts or what's going on with somebody else outside of the game, like just even to vent. Because you know, people within the game, you don't really know them, you don't really know their tone, they don't really care about you per se as like someone that you love and care about and speak to on a daily basis. And so it would have been probably helpful for her just to be able to have an outsider's perspective to kind of rationalize what's going on in the house and maybe just like get her back on track more quickly. So if she didn't use her son as in that moment, that was probably a missed opportunity just to maybe not have wanted to put it out there that she wanted to quit.
Yeah, or ask Chelsea. Maybe Chelsea had some good advice.
Chelsea, yes. So I was relating it to the Carol and Min situation from Big Brother Canada 8, you know, the month-long season or whatever, how many days it was. And I was in the camp where it's like either quit or but do not ask people to nominate you and vote you out. And that I don't particularly like, because the other people are still playing the game, right? And I understand that people have their own mental health that they want to take care of, and I appreciate that and I support that 100%. But to put the other players through the whole week and then know that they're voting them out, it just kind of puts like a hold on the game. And if you need to do something that's important for yourself, like I would have wanted her to just say like, okay, this is what I'm doing, I'm quitting. And then the week will continue as it would, as opposed. But she didn't end up doing what I thought she was doing, was saying to tell them to vote me in and vote me out. But like what I thought that's what she was planning on doing, I was kind of frustrated. It's just like from a game perspective, not from.
But you know, Andrew prefers not to have that. Like Andrew would prefer you not to quit, and it really bothers him. So, I mean, from that perspective, I also think game in an actual house where that's your whole life versus game playing this while you're having a life is two different things. And when you're on TV, I mean, I hate it. I hate quitters, but also I'm like, that's what you went there for. That's what you signed up for. You're in the same position as all these other people. You have the same resources and community as all these other people right now because you are isolated with them. So to me, quitters on TV, I absolutely hate, and I agree with you. I think they should just leave, you know, be over and done with, leave, who cares? Yeah. And but in Big Brother Cheesecake, I would suggest to people to like stick it out, because you don't know how you play into someone else's numbers in game, as well as it would be a big issue for Andrew too. So it's like, you know, just you can stick with it. It's not, I'm not watching it on TV and having to watch the whole episode of you moping around the house, telling people that you want to leave, but you're still there. That would piss me off. How
great would a challenge of Brandon versus Megan be right now? To like, get in the jury house.
I mean,
hi Megan. Hey Megan. I would love that personally. So that's what I was hoping. I'm like, oh, if Brenda quits, maybe he'll bring back Brandon or Megan to be in the jury house, or both of them. Prefer.
Yep. Put a bit
back in the game.
That to happen, so that's good. But like I remember, I was just frustrated in that moment because like I always want to see people to persevere and push through. I don't want to throw out the quit card. Like, don't say you quit. Just figure it out and come back guns blazing. You know, like I just didn't want her to be defeated by the game so much that it would take her out in that fashion. Yeah. But it didn't. So that is good. So with this threat to quit, Andrew decided that Brazil, being the head of household, would be able to play in the next head of household if Brenda was the one that ended up being evicted. How do you think about this being an alternative?
Great for Brazil. But I know, like, when I had the opportunity to compete the next HOH for the double eviction in season 3, I didn't want it. I didn't want that to happen. So she could be happy about that or not. Sometimes it's nice for power to leave you and like go to someone else.
But I also think because of what the competition was that she was able to be a part of, was very different than like a skill set kind of You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He then
think it's
explains the pranker for no prank. So there's still 2 pranks that are left. Let's see if we can get through.
Fast forward.
And so there's, he didn't announce what it was, but one of them was a good prank or like a no prank, and one was the poo ground veto that were left. So it's a 50-50 chance. And he decided to put the remaining players into 3 zones of who would be, like in order of who would be eligible to play. So the first zone 1, I believe, was Lindsay and Marcin, and they have chosen to play before, but they have never been picked to play in any of the prank or no pranks. And so they would have first dibs on whether or not they would like to play. Then zone 2 is Brenda, Kat, and CJ. They have played before, but have been chosen and either run a prank or no prank previously.
Yeah, they've said yes, yeah.
And then 3 is the people that said no to playing prank or no prank, which was Nick, Brazil, and Curtis. Did I get that?
You got it. That was impressive.
I remember I did actually rewind it because I was like, say what?
Yeah, I faced
so, I think this is kind of interesting. He really wants it to be used, it seems. So I think it was a fair way, we'll say, to get that happening. What do you guys think about it?
If I was playing, I'd hate it. So, but watching, I love it. So.
Yeah, it happened last year. I mean, minus the zones, but like where it was reintroduced. I mean, last year was even worse because it was already used and defeated. So then he put it in again. Anyway, that's a whole podcast dedicated to that. But this year I was like, okay, yeah, I can see it wasn't used and giving them one last opportunity to kind of go in for it. So I was okay with it.
Get those poo brown veto stats up. Yeah. So that's pretty much what happened for day 52. Day 53 comes along, and I don't know what I meant by that, so I'll skip it. Thanks, Sally, to quit. What am I talking about? Add her back in?
What? Oh, she was allowed back in. She went back to the
yes. Okay, yeah. I understand. So Brenda sent a message to Andrew saying that she had some time to think about it, and she wanted to still participate. She didn't want to actually quit and leave the game. And so you kind of mentioned this already, Jonathan, in the exit interview, that or even maybe just right now, that you wish that she just had taken some time without putting the Q word into the ethers. Like Kat says, put it out. You don't put it out there. And so, but she did decide to come back into the game, which
don't manifest it.
You manifested it. Yay. So it seems as though Brazil wants to flush out the veto with her noms. Do you think that this is truthful or?
No, I don't buy it.
You don't buy it?
No, I don't know. I think Brazil is working with, Marcin, Nick, and Curtis, and also working with Lindsay and CJ. I think she's working with everybody, and so so I just think it's like there's so much overlap right now that you're just gonna have to, like we said last week, it's like whoever wins things really will determine how things are gonna go and who's going home. So,
yeah, I don't think there's a clear target right now. There's not like one person that everyone's kind of gunning for.
No, not really. After this speaks maybe a little bit, but not
group mentality of we all want this person out because it's best for all of our games.
Correct.
So I think everyone's a little, wishy-washy.
So Brenda was the first nominee, and then CJ. So she said that she was voting for or putting up CJ because she knew that she had the votes for CJ to stay. I feel like that's ouch.
Okay.
Brenda is
yeah,
brutal. But I mean, CJ, right at this point, it seems like she's going to be the perpetual pawn. And my own thoughts, even in our season, I was like, get the perpetual pawn out.
No.
Get them out of there. I'm sorry, CJ. But like, I don't want to hear Andrew do your impersonation anymore. And B, when there's that perpetual pawn goes on the block, they are taking one of you out of the game. They end up being weaponized and they become really powerful, because if you know that if they're sitting next to you, you are going to be the bigger threat and you're most likely going home. So it is about time to get rid of that perpetual pawn, or she is going to take you out.
Yep.
That's my 2 cents on that. What do you think, Jonathan? You seem to have a thought.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It depends on if you're the person who's going to use that pawn. And are you the closest to that person? Like last year, let's be real, it was Lynn. And Lynn was up until the final 4, but I knew she was close to Alvin and Jojo because she kept talking about it. And she called the 3 of us her boys, but at the same time was always on about Alvin specifically and Jojo. So I knew I wasn't, I was going to be gone. But if you genuinely think that you are, the pawn's number 1, I mean, it's a good thing to have and keep in the game. But for everyone else, it's super dangerous. Like you're saying, it's super dangerous because like me, I was gone and the pawn was still in the game. So,
I think our pawn season 3 was nominated every single week, basically. And Chantele, you really didn't want Lynn to stay. Final 9, final 8 especially. Like Caitlin's way. Yeah, I mean, even watching Reality Realness from last week, you're talking about the Caitlin eviction. I'm like, yeah, like I cut that tie because I knew that was one person that would really fight for Chantele when I wanted to be her number 1 solely. And because Lynn, I wanted Lynn to final 4. I made that perfectly clear to both of you.
Yeah, she fought me on it hard.
I was like, sorry.
Like, I can deal with either, but I wanted Lynn not to take many people's spots.
So anyone playing right now with CJ in the game, if you're sitting next to her, you're most likely going home. So if you want to change that, just saying. I know it's not the same game as last season, but keep that in mind.
Yes, it's 100%.
Yep.
pretty much 100% guarantee that you're going home next to the pawn.
Yeah.
Like
unless your ally's up on the block with her or whatever, then yeah.
So we do the veto picks. What?
Oh, I was also going to say Andrew mentioned chocolate milk and his Tim Hortons ice caps, and I'm also a huge fan. Just needed to point that out. But keep going. Wheel. I just don't know. I had a note there. Like, I love ice caps too. Chocolate milk.
I didn't write that down.
No, day 53, the one thing. I'm like,
yeah, I didn't write that down at all. I wrote down things that I couldn't read.
Yeah.
So basically, the only thing else that happened that day was the veto picks. So Brazil obviously was playing. Brenda had, oh my God,
empty.
Had the house guest choice. CJ and Curtis. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Someone else had house guest choice.
Brazil and Brenda both got house guest choice.
Right. That's what my 2 arrows there meant. That makes sense to me.
And the wheel screw up was really funny. It was good television. The wheel screw up was really funny.
I mean, that wheel just is the gift that keeps on giving 100%. Like, that was a good purchase, Andrew.
It was.
I love that wheel. So
and calling out Julian too. I was like, yes, Julian's gonna be like, this is rigged.
I mean, the wheel might be rigged because, like, I don't know if he's just pulling it at the same.
Julian, call him out on it.
So day 54 comes along. So he kind of pokes fun at me at the fact that, like, I called him out on the fact that he did her speech in normal voice. Yeah. And I was like on my, my final 2 speech, he did that voice and I'm like, oh, it would just be more effective if like, it was like either I got to say it or whatnot, but like we all had to suffer through our voices not being able to express ourselves as we would normally sound. So I thought that because he's like, oh, well, it had a lot of important information, I wanted to be well heard. I'm like, that's not the point.
Can I suggest something?
What?
Can we all do our own voice, our fake voices right now?
I don't know if I can.
I don't know if I can do a Miss Piggy voice. I don't know. Is that how it
You guys are doing a really good job at it, so that's what I'm saying.
So he makes fun of me, and is that what Miss Piggy sounds like?
Yeah, pretty much.
No.
Oh.
Would you prefer if I did that? Where's your robot?
Oh, I hated it so much.
I love your robot. It's so cute.
What was it, Joe? CPO? I don't know.
C3PO or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a meme the other day.
It was really
getting a
strange.
blowjob. I'm
And
gonna send it to you.
it was a blowjob. What?
See, I just saw a meme yesterday or today of a C3PO getting a blowjob. I don't remember what the caption said, but
I mean, no one knows what's happening underneath this camera. So...
He's wearing pants today, though.
No, I'm not.
Short.
Oh, okay. I lied.
But I'm wearing shorts. Sorry, I'm out of control. I'm loopy today.
Loopy, have you had a glass of wine already?
No, just my Coke Zero. Been up for a while. Also, this is some time that I'm going to mention Andrew's mullet. Day 54 was out of control for your hair, Andrew. Day 55, you redeemed yourself. You look great, but just slick it back a little right here.
Maybe it was hot. Maybe it's air
Little
conditioning.
pomade, little scissors.
So with the baby pics, though, I guess I wasn't really paying attention to
I was
them.
right. See, I told you it was them. Yeah.
Honestly, I just looked and I was writing and I wasn't fully paying attention. And then he was talking about the Office stuff and I wasn't putting it all together. And so I was just oh, it's some Office reference. I wasn't really looking. I didn't see whichever child looked like Nick.
Nick's was really obvious. That's why
the piercing eyes.
I didn't see
he looks like himself still.
Person. So, anyways, I didn't watch it back yet, but I will watch it back. I totally forgot to. But yeah, I didn't pay well attention there. So thank you, Jonathan, for being on the ball there.
With no notes.
So I have a question. This is so in this. Because we had mentioned, or I had mentioned the fact that there's only 5 people now playing in the veto competitions in Canada's Big Brother. And I personally don't like it, but it is what seemingly is the new trend is. Now, Andrew claims that it is undoubtedly because of budget. Budget is the reason why they are doing this. What do you guys think? No,
I don't think so.
So I'm not them, although I could probably find out because I have producers who are friends of mine. But I would highly doubt it. Although there are moments where, trust me, I'm trying to book an actor and the difference is a couple $100 between certain role sizes and things like that, and production will not budge. So, and it's as simple as that. I don't think that would be in the conversation of things, saving money from just reducing something being made one additional time. I don't see that being, I mean, I could be wrong, but at the same time, I really don't think that's the case. I think it's a genuinely, they decided to freshen it up this way. I hate it, as I think most of us do. And I just don't think it would save that much money. You're buying the same material, all that kind of stuff. It's an extra tiny bit of labor. The person needs to be paid for the day anyway. It doesn't, I mean, it's so, if they're going to cut corners, it's going to be many other areas that I could list off for you. This isn't going to be one of them.
Yeah, so the have-not room. Get rid of the have-not room then. Every room's a have-not room at some point, I'm sure, for these people.
Sorry, what?
I was just going to say, I don't like Big Brother Canada House. It looks too sterile. It's just bright and just not homey, and I've never liked it. The American one, love. The UK one is kind of a mix. Big Brother Canada, I've never enjoyed the house. Ever.
Okay. Let's burn it down.
I would.
I don't mind the house.
People in it.
I think that it's my money thing either. I think that we're hoping or are hoping that the people that are playing the veto will play harder with having bigger odds of winning, and also more likely that the veto will be used. And so I think that they're hoping that it would stir more drama, because if the head of house was in there, he or she is most likely not going to use the veto because he made the nominations and he's not going to change it. With taking that person out of the equation, it then seems as though these 5 people will have more odds, obviously, to win it, and more likelihood that it will be used.
If they're trying to save money, then just narrow down the people, and you could still include the head of household. It would be head of household, 2 nominees, and then just like, let's say the 2 nominees pick a person and the HOH doesn't, and then you'd still only have 5 rather than 6. But I think you're right. I think it's a specific strategic kind of like, we're going to remove the HOH from being able to play. And that's why I think that Andrew's not right in that. And I think,
well, and then also as like the Wendy's for this past season, superpower, they gave the head of household that you get to play in the head of household in the veto competition, and you're just like they did 2 years ago. Like what? Like,
cool.
Why is this a big superpower now? Like, get out of here. So yeah.
When he didn't notice his mom, I'm just saying, remember that?
Oh my god, that was so awkward. That season was so long ago. It seems.
No.
And wasn't he like wasn't he some sort of
I think he just does like hypnosis and
hypnosis. Yeah.
Like I do like that kind of stuff. Like he's saying that he's a brain specialist and he just
Wait, can you hypnotize me? I want to.
I'm not certified in hypnotizing, but
I'll be your guinea pig. That's fine.
Me too.
Oh,
yeah.
Down.
I'm terrified of flying and heights. And so hypnotize me and try to like work that magic. Oh yeah, guinea pig. I'll sign up for that.
Okay, we can work on that, I think.
Oh,
what do I want to imprint into Jonathan's mind?
All of a sudden, Chantele has starring roles on all of I don't have that power.
I do know. What else? So yeah, Brenda ends up picking Kat to play for veto, and Brazil picks Lindsay. Were you surprised by either of those picks for their veto house guest choice?
No.
Yeah, very, very predictable in those picks. So,
yep.
All right. So there's another explanation that happens today. He explains the Big Brother silent auction. Did we get a grasp on what this was?
You got to spell veto.
Yeah.
Lots of letters.
40 in total.
And he believes it'll take between 35 and 40 minutes, which shocked. But great.
Did he say how long it actually took?
Yeah, it took within, like he said, it was what he thought it would. Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad.
Now,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, going into it, when this was being explained, I instantly thought what my strategy would be. And it's kind of what happened. But like for me, I was like going into it, I'm like, oh, well, this is something where you'd want to get 3 letters first, because then you can put as much money into that last one, and everyone else has to kind of gang up on you and waste all their money on that last one. And as soon as, anyway, I just thought that was the best strategy to be the first person with 3 letters. I thought for many reasons, you can think it through for yourself, because I can go on for 20 minutes about it. But I thought that was the best strategy to play going forward.
My initial strategy was to have a piece of paper and be writing down when people were winning letters, so you would have for sure a running number of how much money people left.
Yeah,
like that was like, we will end up talking about it on the day when it's revealed, the winner. But it's kind of like I would know how much money each person had left, so I would know how to outbid them.
But did they? I was confused with this. Did he say at the time, like, this person bought it for? I thought it was anonymous.
I think he stated how much.
The winner, like the letter.
This was purchased for $241 by Curtis or whatever. Okay. I believe so, Andrew. Obviously, if I'm incorrect here, you'll let me know.
Yeah, if that was the case, then I would have as well. If it wasn't the case, then it's so hard to determine.
It would have been impossible then. It would have been impossible to have
strategy, right? Yeah.
Like, yeah, it would be. You wouldn't be able to bet.
Well, you would just know how much money you had and what you were going for, and then not like if you said, this person won a V, this person won a T, then you might know what they did, but you don't know how much they spent. I wondered if that's
they spent more than you, then I guess.
Right.
I get. Well, I guess then it's not necessary that he'd have to said, but I feel like he said that he said.
I thought he was just saying it in the reveal video. It didn't dawn on me that he was saying it as it was happening. I thought it was more anonymous, but I mean, might be wrong as well.
He said that the prank protection was going to be anonymous, the winner for it.
Yeah. And he
which
screwed that up.
made me feel as though he must have not have been anonymous with the other letters. But I can't guarantee that he stated the amount each letter was purchased for,
Right.
but the whom it was given.
Yeah, the whom I thought was out there. It was just the amount that I was in question. I thought he kept the amount anonymous, but
I don't think so, but I could be wrong for sure.
I'll just go watch
That's pretty much what happened on day 54. Day 55 comes along, and we find out that Andrew did blurt out who won the prank protection. And the prank protection, that's a pretty huge award. Like, basically, you have a 100% chance of either getting it or just not getting it, which is like, obviously she's going to play.
If I didn't need that veto, it would have been all my money on prank protection. Thank you very much.
Yep. Like, just get that and then go and see if you're going to win, like, whatever the other prank or no prank was.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
I would definitely have been gunning for that prank protection. But it doesn't seem, nobody was though, were they? Or was it a close one again?
No, she only bid like, wasn't it like 200 and so? Like, it was very modest. I was like, no one's
like 54 cents. She's like, yeah.
So this day, though, he also gives you a shout out, Jojo, for the sequester mini winner. Woo, 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 woo.
Winner, chicken dinner.
And we kind of talked about
spoiled it for everyone.
Final Four drag. Did we talk about this on the air before, or did we? Maybe it was.
No, we haven't, and he didn't understand how that works because he doesn't watch Sequester. But I like where the drag is because I think it's like you can have all this game, and if you don't know how to play finesse that moment of the Final Four correctly, it can be wiped away from you. And I've seen it happen time and time again, and I kind of love that.
Yeah, I think I think before I played the game, what I was most nervous about was the very first round and the Final Four round. Those were the only two that I was like, could be any which way. And my worst nightmare came true the first round, which was only 3 people in my room instead of 4. So odds weren't the best for me to be the safe one.
You didn't nominate yourself though, did you?
No, I did not. No,
it was Nick, and he went home, right? You said
he went home too, and I felt bad, but
not Nick in this game.
Not Nick, not piercing eyes Nick, different Nick. I felt bad for him, but he I don't know, like before the game started, I could see him and he could see me, and we're both like we're cute, like you're cute too, and we're both eating salt and vinegar chips, and I just straight up said like, I don't want to be nominated. I don't know anybody. Nick, do you want to be? And he was like, okay, I guess I'll. Yeah. But I did push for him not to go first. I didn't vote for him.
He was really worried about it.
Out of like 5 people that entire game, he was one of the people I didn't vote for. So, but the Final Four drag was best case scenario for me personally. It was not what I expected at all. I definitely went into it thinking of different scenarios to go with. And this was the last scenario that I had thought of.
And just to clarify, so with the Final Four drag, because there are other drag rounds in the each round, if you didn't vote for the person, can they still drag you even in the Final Four? Okay,
they can drag anybody. Okay,
because I wasn't sure, because in other drag rounds, it's only the person that have voted for you that would be eligible for the drag. But in Final Four, everybody's eligible.
That's why, I mean, otherwise people would speak up and be like, everyone, let's vote out this person. And then if you all did it, then that one person who spoke up could just not vote. And then, then the other 2 would be up for it. But because anyone can, that's when you see people being apprehensive on first talking, because no one wants to be that person being like, well, I'm going to vote you. And the person could be like, well, fine, I'm dragging you then.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 people kind of have a free ride. You know what I mean? So it's really an interesting position to be in that you really need to finesse just right.
I mean, I definitely took that free ride, unfortunately for everyone else, because one person was really aggressive towards someone else and then kind of threatened the wrong player. They should have threatened me and not And didn't
they say they were going to drag you initially, or I feel like you were going.
I literally was not concerned at all the entire time. I was trying to get it. I was like, continue talking so the round's over because I'm fine. So please let this hurry. Yeah. Tara, do you want to say anything, Tara? Because I've said 13 words this entire 5-minute round, whatever it was. So it was like time, hurry. I'm good. Made it. Good, great. But I think the initial drag, I knew that the person was going, but I didn't vote for them because I thought the twist was going to be, you could only drag one of the people that had voted for you. So that's when I said, I'm not voting for Adrienne. I know she's leaving. I'm going to throw a random vote somewhere else. But she could have chosen whoever she wanted out of the 12 remaining players at that point. So they like to switch it up. Audrey also switched it up the other day. And at final 5, they did a drag.
Oh, I didn't see that.
And they did a final 3 instead of a 2.
Ooh.
So that was another that's you just can't expect anything from the sequesters games. That's why it makes them so fun. Every round something different. So if you're playing Cheesecake right now and want to do sequester, do it. It's lots of fun.
And there's going to be another Survivor one,
Yeah.
I think, not this weekend, but next weekend, I believe. And so maybe we should cover it. I know it's a little bit challenging to cover because it's different rooms, but that could be an interesting little off-season podcast that we could chat about.
I like the Survivor one, the last one. Yeah,
The last one was
Good.
great. So
This one's adding international survivors.
Ooh.
That was the twist reveal today, is that people from Australia.
Watch Australia Survivor?
Yeah, Australia Survivor players are going to be playing. Everybody.
Nice.
So it'll be cool.
I'm in. Okay,
Yep.
So yes, Andrew, you are correct. I was chomping at the bit because I love video. Yes, and I do watch all of Survivor minis. So yes, not all, but I watch a lot of them. So I didn't think that they were keeping track of people in the game, and so that's why I think that they dropped the ball with not knowing what to do with Curtis, because they basically gave him the head of household.
Why stop now?
Like,
Let's just you're gonna give Curtis the game, people.
Curtis head of household, but like they had to have known, like he didn't have it. Okay, if you didn't know the dollar amount, they had to know that he didn't have that much money because they knew what they must have, bid for each letter. That so far they knew when he won them. So say he had 3 letters, he won. So maybe they're $250 a piece that he, I would at least have done $251 just to like try to stop him. Like, what was it, $100-something bucks?
That's the difference between this season and our season. We always had people, we always had management going on. We always knew who our targets were, what we were trying to get at, like, and then who you needed to protect from what. I mean, maybe they it was in their best interest for Curtis to get it. I don't know, for the majority of people.
I guess maybe because they didn't want the veto to be used.
Yeah, so maybe they were trying to help him, and that's how it worked out behind the scenes. I don't know, but it seemed like it's like you said, it just people weren't on top of it, paying attention. It just happened.
I mean, the Ruby veto would have been used if someone else had won it. Maybe if Curtis hadn't been the one. So. Yes, I have to pee. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I knew it was coming.
I'm so sorry. I'll be back.
A podcast without Jojo's bladder
exploding. I should get a bet. Actually, I could try and use this can, but I won't because that's full.
Thank you.
I'll be right back.
So day 56 does come along, and it's another one of Joanne's recipes. Do you want to talk about it? Because I took Andrew's advice, and I did fast forward the 17 minutes of Emmy Award.
Hold on, you'll have to remind me what the recipe was.
It was the rum and raisin Nanaimo bar sundae.
Oh, there's really nothing to talk about because it was literally just that the whole time. And it tastes, I mean, Andrew was like, oh, this actually tastes good. And it was better than he expected, but it was long drawn out kind of assembly of items, but yeah.
I think that.
And then she commented on it.
Sorry?
She commented on it afterwards on Facebook or something. Basically talking about how she would never add certain elements. I don't know. I didn't care enough to remember it, but
I do think that Jojo mentioned that he loved the dress shirt and the basketball shorts. So, there was a nice style choice.
Yeah, which I said is his what does he call it? He calls it the
School of Sex for Sex Perverts.
yeah,
Yeah, the perverted,
demented, yeah,
demented, yeah.
School for
for
Sex
sex perverts, yeah. Which hold on, so who's a part of that? Julian,
Krista.
Curtis.
Hi, Krista.
No, they went to Queens, and then
and then Andrew.
Andrew.
What's the actual school? Is it actually St. Mike's?
St. Michael's. Yeah,
St. Mike's, like downtown Toronto?
I don't know.
I don't even know what St. Mike's is.
Oh my God, St. Mike's boys are so cute. Like downtown Toronto.
Where is that? Where is that?
Isn't it on Bathurst? Or am I thinking of? I think St. Mike's on Bathurst.
Oh, Bathurst and
that's where Mean Girls filmed.
Yeah, what's that? Is that St. Mike's or no?
No, that's no, I don't know.
I'm not from Toronto, so I don't know.
I am from Toronto, so I should know, but I don't know if this is like a Brampton school that I just don't know about, or if he was living in Toronto.
There is no St. Mike's in Brampton that I was ever aware of.
Okay,
should I grab my phone and find out?
Yeah.
Okay, be right back.
And I went to a Catholic school in Brampton, so I know all the Saint everythings, and St. Mike's was not one of them.
I think St. Mike's, if it's the St. Mike's, I think it's at Bathurst, like north of...
South of Bloor?
North of Bloor, I would say.
North of Bloor.
Like north of Davenport.
Hospital. St. Michael's College School, private school in Toronto. Oh, Chantele, 1515 Bathurst Street, York, Ontario. M5P 3.
So Bathurst and what though?
It's gonna be like Bathurst and Eglinton-ish, I think.
St. Clair and Bathurst.
I used to drive by St. Clair and Bathurst for years. Where's their school? There's like a Loblaws or something.
Loblaws?
No, Super Center maybe.
There's a Tim Hortons and a Dutch Dreams.
There's a new building on the northwest corner. There's a Super Center northeast corner.
Cute.
They're so cute.
There's an ice cream shop the street over. That's beautiful.
There's a dental care place. There's a Starbucks right across the street.
I'm sure this is riveting for everyone who's watching.
Riveting.
But Andrew went to private school?
Yes.
Oh, he has those shorts.
All right, money.
Ooh. So we were talking about the rum and raisin Nanaimo bar sundae. I did fast forward it. And I used to actually make Nanaimo bars when I was younger. I got a recipe and like, I just remember like, I used to always do like baking stuff. And so I remember like making Nanaimo bars every once in a while. And like, everybody loved my Nanaimo bars. But I don't think my mom would have liked it if I was making it the way that Andrew were doing it. I don't know if they'd be go over as well.
Was that day 55?
56.
Okay, day 56. I have to say the song is one of my favorites. I've been blaring it lately. Higher Love. Do you guys know it? Give me a
higher love. Oh.
Yeah, perfect.
Give me a higher love.
Beautiful, Jonathan. Keep going.
I don't know the words though.
Gorgeous.
What movie was it from? It's like from an 80s movie, like late 80s movie.
I don't know, but there's been like a remix that came out recently too, and it's so good. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it is.
Right, that was my one note.
You know what? I think Andrew should stop with the opening music.
Oh.
And yeah, it's controversial, but I think he should just karaoke it instead.
Yeah, perfect. That's just what we need. Yeah. More fucking punishment from Andrew.
I think he should karaoke every intro whenever he wants to play a special song instead of the regular intro. Yeah.
What Survivor buff does he have too? That's probably going to be a question, everybody.
Well, and he changed his shirt one of these last few days too.
Yeah, he had a dark shirt. I think it was this day. He had a V-neck dark shirt. Make notes.
It wasn't this day because this day didn't he have the your favorite outfit, the dress shirt
with the basketball shorts? Yeah.
So
he looked good in those shorts, Andrew.
So it's the veto ceremony, and he says that Brenda, you're actually quite smashing and charming. Is that what she said?
After she tells him to fuck off. Perfect. That makes so much sense to me.
CJ's so wasted. I couldn't really make it out, but I put down, why is Brenda still here? Why did she quit? Didn't she? Or something like that. And actually poured some rum in her sundae. Bleeped out a bunch of swear words while he was screaming, or CJ was screaming. But in the end, Curtis did not use the power of
That was funny.
Yeah, that was good.
The bleeps were funny.
They were.
Yeah, it was funny. I smiled at that. I didn't fast forward that. You're welcome, Andrew. But apparently the target was never CJ because of that Ruby veto. So,
I mean, I think
dead woman walking at this point, unfortunately.
I think Curtis made a point to say that the House had decided that CJ wouldn't be voted out. I'm really curious who this House is. I don't think there's ever really a House decision unless it's really early in the game and everyone's kind of on the same page, personally wanting someone out, or there's conflict that's big enough for people to want someone to leave. I think the House is a person.
The House is a person. Well, who do you think the person is?
Don't know. Could be an alliance, but I think the House is always a person. I don't think it's just a general consensus. That's my mentality anyway. So I think someone was like, no, I want Brenda.
One person, or could it be like a group?
Oh, it could definitely be a group. Yeah.
So just not everybody. You don't think it's like a House consensus, but you think that it could be one or more people.
2 or 3.
I'd have to agree. I don't think everybody's in on the plan for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Day 57. We kind of get a little bit of an update of what's happening in the jury. Apparently, there's an Arby's across the street in the jury house. Wowzers! This was the second time I screamed or squealed in day 56 as well. But when he's talking about how Ryan jerked off everywhere, all over the place, and that someone has to come in and clean it up, like, I thought that was really, really vile. Like,
I think I blank out in those moments, and I don't even recall you saying it. So it's
you don't recall him talking about him?
No, because I think I'm just like, what? And then I just move on mentally.
Yeah.
Just to go back, I looked it up. It was from the movie Big Business, that it was in the credits, I believe. And that's when what's her name? Bette Midler is Big Business the one with Bette Midler and Lily Tomlin?
Lily Tomlin?
Is the twin?
Oh, yeah, it's on Disney Plus right now. I don't remember what it's called. But I know what
Anyways, it's Big Business is the movie that it was from that I was thinking of, which is, I watched it a million times when I was growing up, if it's the one I'm thinking of. But anyways, that's why it was familiar to me. Back to day 57. So Ryan brings up again, like, how much of this is Andrew and how much do you think it's Ryan? With like, oh, you rode my coattails and all that stuff. Like,
it's all Ryan. It's all Ryan.
I hope it's all Ryan. I feel like Ryan can actually provide enough content that Andrew doesn't have to add anything in. So I hope it's all Ryan.
Well, I find it funny that he's like, oh, gather enough chutzpah to get me out. It's kind of like, if your game was that on point and people were riding your coattails,
you wouldn't be blindsided at this week.
Exactly, and you'd still be in the game. So they might have been making you feel as though, that they're riding your coattails. But in the end, I'm sorry to say this, Ryan, but you got played.
You got.
Got. So, sorry. It's just a fact. So Brenda still has some fight left in her. And so I was pretty impressed that she's kind of coming out a little bit more guns blazing at this point. And this is when CJ actually calls him a narcissistic fuck.
Good.
Wow. And so, what do you think? CJ actually said that, the narcissistic fuck, or do you think that that's Andrew?
I hope she did.
Yeah.
I like a little, I don't know. I think if you're on the block and you got nothing to lose, get aggressive, sure. Throw a target on someone else. Why not?
Why not? So we do
Why
get rules
not?
for the next head of household competition, and I kept this from you guys. I wanted to tell you and like just strategize with you, but then I was like, I thought that it would have been more fun for you to hear about this and just be surprised by
Totally
the hour episode.
Had no idea. I mean, not the first thing you've kept from me, but so it was a nice surprise though, and I enjoyed I enjoyed that turn of events.
So the rules being that the previous winner was going to be coming into the house and spending the day with the house guests, and they are going to be giving their plea or their pitch as to which one of them deserved to have the new head of household. And so that being me, the previous winner, I was going to be going into the house. And so he explained that, and it's called Big Brother's Winner's Choice. And so he found it really funny, Andrew, that people were kind of studying for another cocktail competition, but really it was something completely different. And I love this competition. Like, you get to see people's personalities, like, you know, the fact that they're going to be doing all these pitches in public within the entire group. I think that adds a new element on how you want to present your game, but without revealing too much. And like, there's a lot of elements that kind of go into how much you want to reveal. And so I think it's telling, I feel, to show who's playing the hardest, and you can really tell who wants it the most, you know?
Yeah.
Who really wants to win that particular head of household. So we got that. And part of the rules are that if any of them were to message me outside of the group chat, I would automatically disqualify them. So just so everybody knows, nobody contacted me at all. So everybody was completely fair and square. We didn't actually state that, but yeah, everybody was fair. But apparently Joanne had messaged Jeffrey in her season, or their season, and she did get disqualified. I guess she did some sort of sexual innuendo towards him.
But she was trying to throw it, Andrew said.
Yeah, but could be the case. So next day happens, day 58. We do get the eviction of Brenda. She goes out from 4 to 1. Who do you think her one vote is, Kat?
I don't know either. At that point, I just would have went 5-0. Not to piss CJ off, but
maybe unless someone won jury vote in the end.
Yeah, I mean, maybe someone went to. I mean, 5-0.
That feels to me like someone promised her something, and they were like, "Hey guys, can I just, you know?"
Yeah. Do you mind if I
would never vote for her or something?
I think that Kat would be asking permission to vote however she wants to vote. So actually, I do think, just from how Brenda was kind of speaking about Kat, I do think that Kat was the one that would have voted to keep her.
Maybe. Yeah,
that's my thoughts. And so I was really thankful that Brenda didn't quit, and she did still participate in the whole day's worth of campaigning. I think at that point they'd already voted. And so Brenda did mention in her after thing that, like, oh, it would have been cool if I won it, and then you know, it would have been making history. But I kind of already had an idea that she was going to be out, and so I was already kind of thinking that she wasn't going to be able to win it. So that's kind of one of the reasons also why I wouldn't have given it to her, because I just kind of already had an idea that she was going to be going home. So I just didn't.
Did you have a strong second place choice where you were like up in the air and you were like, oh, well?
So my final three were my final three. I really was. So, okay, the pitch order was Kat, Brazil, Nick, Lindsay, Marcia, Brenda, and Curtis. And CJ didn't even bother doing it. So obviously I wasn't going to give that to her. And so that was in the order of how I appreciated their pitches. And right. So the final three, though, like Curtis coming in, like he did, I'll see if he can send you guys the actual full link, or I can send you, actually, I think I have the link, so you can see
his video. Yeah, I want to see his video.
Quite compelling. And like, I was like, I even messaged to Andrew in that moment. I was like, oh my God, Curtis's pitch. Oh my God, it's so good. And it was really good. And so I would have been thinking long and hard over Nick and Curtis, between those two.
For second.
Have Lindsay as my second pick.
Was Curtis the only one to do a video?
Correct. Curtis was the only one to do a video.
God, take some, like...
I was surprised that
Jojo's game. He was playing my game with the Pooh Brown. Like, stop copying our games, Curtis.
Yeah, Curtis. Good job, Curtis.
Neither of us won, so.
Yeah.
He did his homework for sure. And like, I mean, they all did. They all mentioned things that they knew about me. Like Brazil was kind of cute with her, like realness with 2 and 3 S's. Like, I thought that was cute. Like, they all had pretty decent pitches, not going to lie. But those final 3, like I really was, I thought that it was going to be a lot easier because I did feel that I was most interested in what Lindsay was going to do from the get-go. But at the same time, both Nick and Curtis, I was wavering. I went back and forth.
I was happy that you gave it to Lindsay for that very reason. I mean, she's on my team, but also I think I don't know what she's going to do.
I know.
And so I thought it was really interesting. And I think it was going, like, if I was in that same position, going into it, I would think that would kind of be where I was leading it. Her or probably Kat, but is probably who I would have given it to. But yeah, I'm glad Lindsay got it.
Me too.
Yeah, with Kat, I was kind of like, so you're gonna put up like Curtis and Nick, and then like Marcy would be their play. I just thought it was just too like predictable.
Yeah, I know what her play would be, but for me, it would be like I wanted to give her a second chance at things because I feel as if her life in this game is dwindling a little bit. I don't know if people are going to use her as that swing vote necessarily, or if she's an easy, like, you know, let's get you out. Let's, you know, really just kind of. I think there are 2 sides, right? So.
And if you were thinking of stats, you could have been like, okay, Brenda's my number 1 choice, and then Brazil number 2. Back-to-back double wins for head of household. Never happened. Brenda winning.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Only if you're a stats person.
Yeah, well, no, stats are cool. But I don't usually pay attention to them until after. I'm like, oh, that's a cool stat. Yeah. But I'm not like, ooh, but that's a stat.
I'm gonna create a stat.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of that at all. I
knew you'd be really open-minded, though. Like, I knew you'd go in and be like, I'm taking this seriously, and I want to make, like, the best week possible. For sure.
And they were pretty good at the house. It was pretty fun being in there and, like, having Wally, like, hi! Like, it was cute. I liked it.
That is cute.
Did you like our little phone chat? I didn't realize they actually had me on the phone until I watched it after. I thought it looked just really cute.
I like when he's talking to you and you're not looking at him the whole time because he's facing the computer and you mentioned it. You're like, well, I can't see you, Andrew. And
get over. And I like how fast you whipped off your glasses. You were like, camera ready, ready for it.
Well, I don't know if it was on. I fast forwarded a little bit because I knew what we said in it, but Did it show me declining his first one?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Like, I was like,
he's like, she was supposed to get to me at midnight, and it's 2 a.m. and I have not heard from her, so I'm calling her. And then it was like, he's like, "Are you kidding me?" And then he's like, "I'm gonna call her again." But no, because you were texting him after the first decline. Yeah.
Because I was like, I didn't think that he was actually calling. I thought he was calling me to be like, where is my video? Because I already filmed the video, and it was actually in the middle of sending the video because I did a video response to like my pics, and so it was like in the delivery process, and I was like, I'm sending it now. I thought he was calling to yell at me, and no, really he called me to catch me off guard. Or like, what if I was like, I don't know, in a compromising position or something?
He would have shown it.
100%. Yeah, started an OnlyFans.
Sneaky. I had no idea he was going to call me. So that was the real deal, folks. The real deal. That's it for day 58. We don't really talk that much about day 59 because we'll probably talk about it next week. But Lindsay is our new head of household. She's Yellow Properties. And at this point now, because Brenda's gone home, all the sales staff are done. So we'll save day 59 for next week. How about
Yeah.
that? How about that? Anything else to say? I thought it was a great week.
Great week.
I think it's because I was a part of it. Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah,
What?
exactly.
Jonathan, when are you going to win something? Are you going to win Survivor?
When am I gonna win something?
I
Well,
want you
I
to
won
win.
Cheesecake. Jojo won Survivor or Sequester.
Yes, sequester. I'm never gonna win anything.
I have
Let's
faith
get
in
into
you.
play. Maybe let's ask Ryan about that that we were talking about. And get
Listen,
him to win it.
I went into this time last year. I went into the house, and they hated me immediately.
What?
Ooh.
Or not. I was in the house, but the previous season winner, Chanel, right, who won last season. She came into the house, right,
Yes.
for us.
Yeah.
And I tried to do my homework. I mentioned her boyfriend's name, and she was like, "He's creepy." And
Leave my Facebook alone.
fine.
Jonathan, I want you to play. I do want you to play.
Wait, Jojo, we don't hear you.
Jojo's like, "I do want you to play."
And the meaning of life is
Is yes. ... Your audio is
no
dead.
audio.
It's okay. I'll play it all. I want to play everything. Is the
Okay,
answer?
we'll
So
get
yes.
we'll get you on another one because I think someone just asked me to play
Play
one.
it. I'll win it.
Oh, there's another new game that's online. I'll send it to both of you. I don't think I'm going to play it, but I saw something.
I want to make my own.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes, and that's another thing. We should actually talk for real about that because that could be super cool.
I came up with a sequester version of the 1 week that I was talking about.
Cute.
To add to that too. So
I'm in. Okay, let's chat about that. Well, probably tomorrow because I have stuff to do tonight. But thanks everybody for sticking to it. We made it a little bit shorter. I think it's only going to be like an hour and a half. Woo! If you made it here, we love you. Thank you for joining us. Please find me on Instagram at Realnesss with 3 S's. That is correct. Or at Fran. You can find Jonathan at
Rylan the dog on Instagram. He's my assistant. I pay him now, so he fields all my calls and social media.
And Jojo
At Joseph O'Toole.
Perfect. Please subscribe right down below. Hit that like button, ring the bell so we can notify you when we have a new video. And other than that, we will be seeing you next week. Take care. Take care, guys. Bye.